What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Pit Life Barbecue Podcast. I'm Johnny Maggs coming to you live from the Uncle Steve Shake Studios in Center Bonstead, New Hampshire. What is going on, gang? We got an exciting show today. I've been hearing a lot of things about this Embers TV. It's a new streaming platform based on all barbecue, grilling, live fire um, content. So, we're always looking for new and exciting things. And I reached out to the CEO of Embers TV, Carlos Bradley, and he was gracious enough to give us some time to come on and talk about it. So, without any further ado, today's show is brought to you, obviously, by Uncle Steve Shake. Uncle Steve Shake has 15 amazing flavors: the original, the thick meat, the gator shake, competition line, the sweet dessert shake, Texas Cajun, and we have a mail call today. Couple samples of the new steak shake he was talking about with us last week. But Uncle Steve, incredible customer service. He answers the phone. Any of your shake needs, any questions whatsoever, give him a call. He'll answer it. Check out his Facebook page, Uncle Steve Shake Nation on Facebook, and we're all in there. And just drop a question, and we'll answer it as best as we can. But Uncle Steve shake some on everything. Junior, what's up? Randy Judge, what's happening? Hi, Bobby. Chris Rosinski, what's going on, brother? So, guys, without any further ado, let's get Carlos on and let's get into everything Embers TV. Carlos, what's happening, brother?
What is going on? How's everything today?
Oh, man, another day in paradise, as they say.
They do say
We
that.
know what's happening. So, Carlos, I reached out to you last week, and I'm really intrigued with what you got going on. And we messaged back a few times, and I expressed my feelings of what you got going on with the new platform. And what I said is true. I really think what you got going on is really the future of our passion of
Yeah.
barbecue grilling, live fire cooking, and everything in between. So before we get into that, tell everybody, who you are, your journey, and what led you into the barbecue realm.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I live out here in California's Bay Area. Now, don't anyone hold that against me, but I was born and raised in California. After high school, I went to Texas and I lived in Texas for almost 8 years. And I lived in Houston, and that's really where I got bit by the barbecue bug. I grew up with my dad cooking on the Weber kettle, and especially out here in California, lots of tri-tip, right, growing up. And so I always had this love for grilling, cooking outside, but really in Texas is where I got bit by the bug of low and slow smoked barbecue, and really fell in love with Texas style barbecue. And it's been a passion of mine really ever since leaving Texas. I was fortunate enough where I rented a house in Texas where the owner had a 500-gallon offset in his backyard. And he told me, listen, it's not going anywhere. I have no other place to put this, but if you want to use it, you can use it whenever you want. I was like, well, whenever you come back to fix things at the house, you got to show me, tips and tricks and whatnot. And so that was really my first, hooray into smoking barbecue and really doing barbecue for myself, kind of on that level. So I always had this passion for barbecue, but I've always been in marketing and creative and filmmaking and kind of the creative world, and that's what I've done professionally. Living here in California, I've worked for a lot of startups, that sort of thing. when the pandemic hit, kind of like everyone, it kind of forces you to be at home a lot more. It forces you to be in the backyard cooking a lot more. And my wife kept telling me, listen, you got to start making videos on YouTube and TikTok. And I didn't want to do that, especially TikTok. I thought TikTok was for dancing kids, and I had no place being there. Eventually, she convinced me to do it. I started to record videos of myself, and again, I have this background of filmmaking. I have this background of creative, and so within a few weeks, I had the first videos go viral and whatnot. Fast forward 3 years, I've built up a pretty decent following, a pretty decent audience. Nothing crazy, but still decent across TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And I've started to develop these really great friendships and these really great relationships along the way. People like Woodfire and Whiskey, Marco Sanchez, really big character, incredible content creator on social media, Jeremy Yoder, Matt Groark, Brad Robinson, Chud's Barbecue, Al Fragoni, TFTI Barbecue, a bunch of these guys. And we started to develop, really close friendships to where some of these people, they come over to family gatherings, that sort of thing. And when I started to have this idea for a streaming platform that was dedicated to barbecue, these were the first people that I kind of reached out to because of that relationship that I developed, and then started reaching out and talking to a few different investors. We brought in 7 investors, raised a whole ton of capital, and now we are officially launched. We've been launched for about a month and a half, and it has been absolutely insane ever since we launched. It hasn't stopped. It's been chaos. The amount of filming. We were just at an event yesterday filming. We're in Texas this week on Thursday. We're filming a competition show in Texas. Then after that, we're going to be in Argentina for 17 days.
I know.
And just really excited about some of the things that are happening around Embers TV.
Oh, that's awesome. And yeah, like we were saying, you had the founder members, Jeremy, Marco, Brad, Tone, Matt, and Al, and yourself. And that's quite a lineup of heavy hitters.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the things that's really incredible about this group is all of them really represent different niches of
Yeah.
either the barbecue or comp world or restaurant world or open fire world. All of them represent really different niches. And it was never, I think, one of the biggest misconceptions about Embers TV and what Embers TV is. I think most people get it, but some of the misconceptions is it's only kind of about us as the founders, when really we're just the team building it. We're the team building the foundation, and it's about barbecue. It's about barbecue. It's about the best stories of barbecue, open fire, and outdoor cooking. And so, sure, we're the kind of this initial team that's building it. A lot of the early content centered around us because we're the ones that kind of had to be the first ones to build this thing. But we just licensed. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with the show Bamacue.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all of the seasons of Bamacue are about to be on Embers TV. There's other licensed content that we're about to bring on. There's talks with we're in talks with other producers about doing shows centered around the world of competition, and just there's so much that's going to be coming to Embers over the next few months that really has nothing to do with the founders. It's about telling the great stories of barbecue, the stories that you and I love to immerse ourselves in.
Oh yeah. That's what for years, like I said to you before, I've been doing this 5 years now. And at one point, part of the opening used to be, talk everything barbecue and everything you talk around the pit.
Yeah, totally.
Which is a big part of it. Food has always been that great equalizer, that communal celebration, if you will. I know you had actually. I had heard a story you were telling me. You were telling. You cooked for your brother's birthday.
Oh, so
And,
that story was actually Jeremy's story.
oh, was that Jeremy?
That was sometimes on audio we sound similar, but that was Jeremy's story. But it's it's one of those things that it's true, and I think we've all had experiences where Jeremy was cooking for his brother's birthday. He was making barbecue, and he had to go man the pit out in the rain. And he went outside by himself and he's working the pit. And before you know, he turns around and everyone is there staring at him, looking, because there's something primal, there's something
Yeah.
attractive about working a fire, cooking meat with fire. It's really that thing that's kind of separates us from every other animal on earth, right? We cook with fire.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, there's something very, very primitive about it. And I think everyone, identifies to it, and they identify by it. So yesterday we're at this event and we're in the Santa Cruz Mountains, right outside of Silicon Valley. And at this event that we cooked at were some of the probably the top tech elite, millionaires and billionaires. We'll say that, right?
Mhm.
And these are people that they probably travel by private jet, and who knows. I mean, I can't even imagine the lifestyle some of these live. uh they were so attracted to what we were doing. We cooked the event, we cooked it all Argentine open fire style, right? They would not leave the pits, they would not leave the area that we are cooking. And even though these people have seen it all, they've done it all, they've gone everywhere, they thought it was just the coolest thing. And there, it's something that everyone is attracted to.
Oh, 100%. And yeah, it's very communal, food, barbecue, cigars, wine, it all, all three of those, live fire cooking, cigars, wine, or
Yeah,
nice whiskey, bourbon,
totally.
it all mends together. And, it almost becomes therapeutic.
Oh yeah, absolutely, it's therapy for me
you
for
know,
sure.
um, so like you said, you've been this launched at the beginning of September, so you're about 6, 7 weeks into it.
Yep.
Tell us, t- let's get into everything, with Al Fragoni, because you said you're spending 17 days in Argentina.
We are.
And I'm going to go out on a limb and assume he's going to be the ringleader of this
Yeah.
excursion.
He is somewhat of the ringleader. So Al Fragoni, definitely the most attractive member of the founding team of Embers TV. He was born and raised in Argentina. Cooking with fire is a way of life for him, right? This is something that is natural. When you're a small child in Argentina, you're surrounded by what they call the asado lifestyle, and
Mhm.
asado is kind of their word for barbecue. Um, and so what we're doing is we're filming a TV show that is called Firestorm. And we haven't really announced that yet. So this is kind of an exclusive to your show. We're filming this TV show called Firestorm. There's going to be 9 episodes of this TV show. And Firestorm, the first season, is going to center around Argentina. But the series, what it's supposed to do, it's supposed to show us how cooking with fire has traveled all over the world and then settled in different regions and different cultures. And so this first look is at Argentina, and we are going everywhere. We start in Buenos Aires, then we go into Mendoza. Mendoza is Argentina's wine region, and it's such a beautiful area. It's right beneath the Andes Mountains, and so you have these beautiful vineyards, but then with these snow-capped mountains above, it's absolutely stunning. Then from there, we go into Patagonia. The first area that we go into Patagonia is we go into the mountain country. Then we go all the way down. The furthest southern city in the world is this little town, this little fishing village called Ushuaia. And if you go any south, you're in Antarctica. And
Oh,
so
wow.
the seafood, the king crab down there in Ushuaia is unbelievable. And so we're going to be highlighting everything and really tell the story of Argentine cooking, the Argentine people, and it's all going to be told kind of through the lens of Al Fragoni.
Oh, that's incredible. Yeah, I was listening to a podcast he was a guest on the other day. Meet Dave,
Mm-hmm.
and I could listen to Al for hours. Just to be able to, listen to him talk, you know, because obviously, he speaks with the accent, but
Yeah,
the passion he speaks with, you're just memorized by it.
totally.
So that's going to be cool. 17 days.
Yep.
Now, with Embers TV, it's not just you got a couple handhelds or your iPhone in it. You guys you guys pulled out no stops in everything is 100% or nothing from my understanding. You've
Yeah.
got a whole team, production team, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, so really the leader of our production team is Marco Sanchez. So one of the things and Woodfire and Whiskey. One of the things that a lot of people don't know about Woodfire and Whiskey is before his, his life as a barbecue influencer and content creator, he was a professional filmmaker and a commercial filmmaker for many, many years. He's worked on Emmy award-winning documentaries. Myself, I have somewhat of that background as well, but he's really leading the production team. And there are some things that maybe sometimes are lower production value, but a lot of the stuff that we do, it's at the production level of Netflix, it's at the production level of some of these big streaming services, or even cable TV channels and whatnot. For instance, Argentina, this is $100,000 series or more, production that's going to be happening. um it's it's a really incredible thing being able to have this opportunity to tell these stories, but to tell them in a way cinematically and production value that that really does justice, right? um and so yeah, so we have an incredible team behind us. And we're really just we're trying to make the best content possible and tell the best stories possible.
Nice. And I can't even begin to imagine, all the work y'all been doing to get Embers TV up and running,
Yeah.
and then the content aspect of it. Um, you're going more professional, TV programming. I don't want to say that, okay, what's the difference of Embers TV and something like YouTube, for example? Because a lot of the guys are YouTubers,
For sure.
have been for years. Um, what's the real difference in content wise?
Yeah. Well,
More in depth, like tips, tactics, things like that, other than a how to video,
yeah.
so to
So
speak.
I think that Embers TV is going to be a place for everything, right? It's going to be a place for, if you're trying to find actual like recipes on a brisket or recipes on perfecting ribs or whatever, there's going to be content like that. But ultimately it's about storytelling, whether it's the story of competition, whether it's the story of travel in Argentina, whether it's the story of, a Texas, pitmaster legend and how they got to that place. I think the big difference with stuff on YouTube is Embers TV affords us the um a way to get out content and produce content that you wouldn't be able to on YouTube. Doing a couple $100,000 production on Argentina, unless you have a million, multi-millions of followers on YouTube, it's really hard to make the economics of a production like that work, or even storytelling like that work. And so, some of these guys that are on the team that they're great YouTubers, they're still going to continue to make the style of YouTubes that they do. They're still going to continue to do that. No one's stopping. But what it does afford us to do, really the whole subscription model with people paying either monthly or annually for a subscription, it affords us to make just kick-ass shows, and shows that you're not going to find on YouTube, because really there's not an economic way to monetize that easily and actually continue to put out new series and new shows like that.
Cool, because that was one of my questions of, is there gonna be any stipulations between, doing everything for Embers TV and their YouTube stuff, so
Not at
they're
all. Yeah.
continuing to do both?
Totally. And like, I think of like, with Jeremy. So Jeremy's going to be on this Argentina trip with us, right? He's going to be making YouTubes while he's there. That's going to be this behind the scenes of our trip and
Oh, wow.
doing epic stuff. And so I think what'll happen is people will see that, and it's going to actually entice them to like, oh shit, I got to
Yeah.
go watch even more of this. I need to go watch that whole series. So it's actually a tactic on our end, which but it's going to actually give all the other guys more opportunities to make really great content.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't even think of that aspect of it, because that was actually one of my other questions. Um, have you gotten any blowback, so to speak? You know, like you said, with doing my show now 5 years, I every once in a while, not so lately, but at the
Mhm.
very beginning, I was finding some difficulties with the different um, Facebook groups or groups in general of they were Facebook ride or die,
Yeah, yeah.
YouTube ride or die.
Yeah,
That I would be sharing, the show for a year.
totally.
Then I'd have a YouTube personality on, and all of a sudden I get a message. We don't support YouTube here. And it's you sit there and scratch your head going, why not?
Yeah.
It's a Facebook group. I get it. YouTube is a different platform. I get it.
Mhm.
But you honestly gonna sit there and tell me you don't watch YouTube? You've never watched the how to cook a brisket. I see Brother
Yeah.
Alton in there. What's up, brother? The dog father. He has one of the best brisket videos on YouTube.
Oh, I bet.
Um, it was a lot of kickback on the crossover between the two platforms. It's like, dude, I'm just having a conversation with somebody that somebody might not know.
Yep.
I'm spreading the word. I'm spreading the love, the cooking, the everything, our passion of what we do week in, week out. And to get kickback from it, it was really disheartening.
Yeah.
And I still, it gets under my skin, as you can probably tell. But it's like I still don't understand it.
Yeah.
It's barbecuing, it's grilling, it's live fire at the end of the day.
Yep.
Whether it's on a specific platform or not, who cares? Now, have you guys experienced any of that stuff since launching?
Sure, of course. You experience a little bit. One of the good things about being a content creator on social media is you learn to get really thick skin really quickly because
Oh, yeah.
I the first couple videos that I had go viral on TikTok, I was cooking on a Traeger, right? And here comes all the people that they want to hate on pellet grills, right? I remember I had a comment, and just trigger warning, I guess, but I had a comment where someone told me that I should unalive myself because I was cooking on a pellet grill, and real men don't cook on pellet grills. And I guess I laughed it off, and I have thick skin, but there's a lot of other content creators I know that can't laugh stuff off like that. It really gets to them. And so I guess one of the good things is we're a bunch of us, we're content creators and we have thick skin. But I think there's always going to be people that talk about the unknown, right? And there's always gonna be haters. You have some people talking about, oh, this is a money grab. Well, newsflash, none of us are making money on this. If anything, this is just going to finance our productions. Eventually, sure, it'd be great if, this could pay some salaries and if we could bring on more and more employees to build this, even larger. But we're doing this because we love spreading the message of barbecue, right? And cooking outdoors and open fire cooking. And this is giving us a way to create and tell the stories that maybe we would never have had the way to do that if we didn't do something like this. And so it's definitely not this money grab thing. And sure, sometimes people, I mean, it's $5.99 a month or $59.99 a year. If people pay for it a year, and sometimes they can come in with a promo code, you're talking about 2 racks of ribs. That's the cost of this thing. And you get a whole year's worth of content that hopefully is really gonna, excite you and be right up your alley. But like one of the things that I've said on social, and I'll keep saying it, man. If anyone is like, it's legit, they have some sort of financial hardship, they can't make this work, man. Shoot me a DM, and I'm going to take care of you. We'll figure out how to get you a subscription, right? But really, this is about making as much, I don't know if you're like me. I love to watch things having to do with cooking outdoors and queuing and smoking and grilling, right? I love it. And so many times I go to Netflix or I go to Hulu and I realize I've watched everything here. And sometimes I've watched them twice. And
Yep.
so if there was a home that was nonstop, all things barbecue, all things cooking outside, shit, I want to subscribe to that. That sounds like a subscription service that I would never want to cancel. And so that's ultimately what we're trying to create here.
Oh, hell yeah. And I agree with that to 100% also. It, going through the Netflix, watch them all
Yeah,
multiple times.
totally.
Um, Hell, Barbecue Pitmasters on TV. I've
Yeah,
seen every episode 1,000 times, and they never get old.
yeah,
It's just the love for it. So whenever I heard hey, have you heard about this Embers TV? No, what do hearing different things? And there was some mixed stuff involved, which anything new is going to have a mixed bag.
of course, of course.
But you said it perfect. It is a constant content,
Yeah, yeah.
which is the key. And,
I think
very different things, different aspects of it, the different shows on a regular. It is, I think this Embers TV can be I say it all the time. And a lot of guys who are cooking these days, especially in the competition circuit, how'd you get into competition barbecue? Oh, I was sitting on my couch one day and I was flicking through the channels and there was
yeah,
a barbecue show on called Barbecue Pitmasters. And then the famous last words is, "Ooh, I bet I can do that."
I could do that too.
you, you know,
Yeah,
I think this can really be that I was watching Embers TV
yeah,
and it sparked an interest in me. And the more I watch, next thing you know, I'm out buying grills, I'm buying, sourcing wood, getting proteins, and
totally.
you know, um,
And the other thing
also,
too is, when you watch a lot of stuff on Netflix and, some of these other shows that are, they're on big, big networks, they're competition shows or whatever they are. Sometimes it's obvious that they're made by people that don't really know barbecue.
mhm.
They're made by, the classic Hollywood producer, Hollywood, whatever. And but they're not made by real barbecue people. And I think that's the other thing is getting to tell these stories, but through the lens of people that are completely sold out and passionate about barbecue. I think it's going to equate to better TV shows.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. I haven't seen the chat here. Brother Lep, what's up? Stephen and Jacqueline, what is going on all the way from Trinidad and Tobago? I see Josh from Skinner Farms. Brother CJ, what's happening?
So,
Jen Lee, darling, how are you? Kyle, what's happening? Al Lunacy, what is going on, brother? NBL. Christy V, how are you, honey? It's CJ from Cooking with CJ goes, hell, you brought a Ninja air fryer guy on the show for an interview once. Hey,
I've never,
Efren, what's up, brother?
I've never used I've never used the Ninja air fryer. Actually,
Oh, it's awesome.
oh, it
It's
looks awesome
awesome.
every time I see one. I get bitter that they haven't hit me up for a partnership.
Oh, they're fun. They're
Yeah.
fun. I got the 14-in-1 pressure cooker. I
Oh,
can do everything. I can pressure cook. We could do soups, chilies. You can air fry it, bake, everything. They're absolutely amazing.
that's
Guggen,
awesome.
what's happening? So, Carlos, what is your process of, like you're saying, coming up with ideas for new shows, or like you were saying, trying to license the
Mhm.
different shows such as Barbecue?
Yeah, yeah.
What's that process like?
I mean, we're still very new, and so this process is developing, right? It's a pretty young process. As far as developing new shows, I think that through all of us, through our barbecue adventures, you start to come up with ideas. You start to come up with, for instance, taking barbecue competition shows, for example. A lot of them are very, very similar in how they're set up and how they're structured. We started really early on saying, how could we do something that's completely different? How could we do a barbecue competition show that's completely different? Um, the same thing. There's some of these TV networks that are dedicated to sports, right? You have sports networks that show cornhole tournaments.
Yeah.
Why don't you have a network that dedicates the same attention and love and production to the barbecue comp world? Because I think you should, and hope, and that's the goal, is that you'll have that on Embers TV, right? And so us founders, we're coming up with ideas all the time, and we have weekly calls, multiple weekly calls, where we're talking about ideas, where we're green lighting new productions and new series. But then also we're talking to other production houses now about, hey, we have this idea for a show. Can you actually produce it? Can you actually go out and create this? Because we can't do it all ourselves. And then, since we've launched, now what we have is we have production companies, people that create shows for Food Network, Outdoor Channel, Netflix, Hulu, and they see what we're doing with this niche streaming service. And now they're coming to us and saying, hey, we have this show that we've already shot, or we have this show that we're currently filming, we're currently in production on. Would you guys like to license it? And I mean, really, our answer is yes, kind of across the board. We want everything. And
Hmm.
so, we are just working kind of tirelessly to get as much of this incredible, barbecue cooking with fire content up on the platform. And so it's very tiring because of just all the meetings that we're in, and all the production that we're doing. In I think in the last month, I've been home with my family 1 week, because of all this travel and all this filming and all this production. And so there's a lot going on for sure.
Oh, it's like I said, it's so interesting, and the thoughts are just running through, and I'm
Yeah.
confusing myself at this point. Um, but yeah, but tell us, like I said, I had just stumbled upon it last week because I'm a mailman by trade, so
Love
I'm
it.
out on the street by myself all day in my head, which is a dangerous place to be.
Yeah, totally.
But and I always used to listen to sports radio, and that
Yeah.
started getting ridiculous in the Boston area 6, 7 years back. And so then I got into listening to podcasts and barbecue podcasts, which led to this.
Yep.
Tell us about the Smoke Show podcast that you guys have going on.
Yeah. So, the Smoke Show podcast really it started as kind of a way to let people know what we have coming out, who we're going to be filming, where we're going to be filming, and kind of give a behind the scenes glimpse at what we're doing at Embers TV. But it's already turned into something pretty crazy. We have two full episodes released. We're going to have another one up this week. We already have 8 in the can. So we've already done 8 episodes, and we're kind of releasing one every
Yep.
week. The first one, after a few days, it was right after we launched, we released it, and had a few thousand listens, and we got really excited. And then it started to get into like the 6-digit numbers, and it just started to go and go and go, and it was like, what is going on here? And so, I really think that the Smoke Show podcast is going to turn into something that is going to have even a life of itself, which is really exciting.
Yeah, like I said,
Yeah.
I had stumbled upon it. I'm like, Smoke Show. Then I looked at the description of it. I go, oh, this is connection with with everything they got going on with Embers TV.
Yeah.
And so I listened to it, and there was three. There was the promo
The preview podcast.
episode,
Yeah. Yeah.
pre-episode. Then you had technically the first one with all the members,
Yep.
which was nice. They all came and did 10, 15 minutes introduction
For sure.
and everything, and what they all have. And then you had the last week's one, and I was loving it. I was loving it. And I think during last week's one is when I actually messaged you. Going,
Gotcha.
yo, we got to do this. I go, I just feel I got to get the word out. Now,
Yeah.
how hard has it been getting the word out?
Well, I think the good thing is, like with me, for instance, my background is marketing. Even before barbecue content creation and all that, I've worked in marketing really my entire life. And so, I love the world of marketing and the problem solving of how do you get the word out of a specific thing. It's what I do and it's what I love. And so, you know, i- I'm really excited about all the different marketing tools that we have to kind of get the word out. We're running a lot of ads and that sort of thing to try and target the right people and let them know about this new platform. And then it also doesn't hurt that our team is kind of made up of, quite a few food content creators, barbecue content creators that have something like 11 million followers when you put it all together. And so slowly but surely getting the word out, we're working daily to do it.
Oh, that's beautiful. Here we go. We got Kyle. Carlos, once we subscribe, who is the next up and comer you would recommend to watch?
Yeah. So I mean, we have a lot of really exciting shows on right now, right? If you're Bewitched by Al Fragoni, like you mentioned earlier, Al Fragoni has a masterclass on open fire cooking that is absolutely incredible. And it is just as bewitching to watch this masterclass as it is to cook with him in person. I learn something every time I'm with Al. And so his masterclass is really, really cool. Um, but I think I'll say the most popular series right now is the Backyard Barbecue Invite with TFTI Barbecue. And it's kind of like your MTV Cribs, but barbecue edition. And so what it is TFTI, he's going around to all these different legends' homes and he's giving a glimpse of their backyard barbecue setup. And it's funny as hell, and it's this behind the scenes that you never really really see. And some of the names, some of the people that are going to be in this first season is unreal. And so I would definitely recommend to check that out.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Tom, what's happening? Uncle Steve, what's going on, brother? Oh, so the Cribs a dish barbecue edition.
Yeah,
I love it.
it's a
I
lot of
love
fun.
it. All right. Speaking of the barbecue cribs, what's in your backyard, brother? What are you cooking?
Well, so I'm sponsored by Camp Chef. And so
Mhm.
it's one of those sponsorships where, yeah, I'm sponsored by them, but I genuinely, I love everyone that works at Camp Chef. They are the coolest people that to work with, but their products are badass. I used to work with Traeger a little bit, when I first started out. Um, I think that Camp Chef is doing some real innovation with this whole smoke box that sits on top of the fire pot, where not only is your grill powered by pellets, but then you're actually able to put legit wood chunks into that smoke box, and the level of smoke that you get from it is pretty bonkers.
Okay.
We Jeremy and I did a video on YouTube, on his YouTube channel, that you could go watch, where it was a blind taste test where we blind taste tested Bradley Robinson with two briskets. Jeremy cooked it on an offset smoker, and I cooked it on a Camp Chef. And Bradley Robinson could not tell the difference. And so, all that to say, I have three Camp Chefs in the backyard. I have my Brio fire pit that is probably my favorite thing to cook on because it's open fire cooking,
Mm.
and I love just doing full spreads on the Brio fire pit. And then I have an SNS ceramic Kamado style grill back there as well. And then in the garage, but it's more for events than it is in the backyard. I have a couple of those big Argentine grills as well.
Oh, now you're talking. Now you're talking.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's like I said, it's once I found this, the heart started going, the blood started pumping. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, this is a dream. Is this really happening? A platform just on barbecue grilling.
Yeah.
And, because like I said, when most of us can agree, if you come out with one show, we're going to want more.
You
Or
want
you sit
more?
there and watch 3 shows and go, dude, I wish there was more.
Yeah.
And, if you can finally get it up, and obviously going to take a bit to, build the library
The
per
library, right.
of shows, but, by the sounds of it, you got quite the library already started. And, like you were saying, with Al Pergoni has a master class.
Yeah.
Where on the face of the planet can you go and get a master class for the price you're talking?
Yeah, and really you can't. You really can't. This price, it's not hundreds of dollars. It's $5.99 and $59.99. Which, by the way, someone asked earlier, how do you subscribe? So I'll give everyone here on the podcast a little treat. So one, if you're not already subscribed, you go to embers.tv, which is the web address, and if you use the code podcast, you're going to get 30% off your subscription. So use the code podcast. You'll get 30% off your subscription. And it's important to note that sign up online first, and then you can download the apps for your TV, your phone, your whatever, because the apps don't accept promo codes, right? You have to subscribe through Apple or through Android or whatever it is. And so sign up online, make your account, make your credentials, and then you could download any of the apps. But embers.tv, and then, use the code podcast. You'll get a little deal.
Yeah,
How
nice.
about that?
So a little bird told me
Uh-oh.
upcoming, now I don't know if it's out yet, but rumor has it that Jeremy Yoder is going to be sitting down with Mr. Franklin, Mr. Aaron Franklin, for
Yeah.
quite the conversation. Can you shine any light upon that?
So I was a little worried at first because I thought maybe you were talking about the Jeremy Yoder striptease that we filmed, but that's gonna come later. We won't talk about that yet.
No, that's once they're off the track.
Yeah, no. So Jeremy sat down for a basically 3-hour, just man-to-man conversation with Aaron Franklin, where they talked about everything. And someone said, "Yes, I can barbecue." Said that's already on YouTube. 20 minutes of that is on YouTube, but we have 3 hours of it. And, everything that gets asked, there was nothing that was off the table. Are you only using salt and pepper? Those types of questions, all of that is in this 3 hours. And so that's going to be up very, very soon. Within the next week or two, it'll probably be live. And what's really exciting is we have some of those things already in production with other absolute legends, where it's just a raw kind of round table around a fire, completely nothing, there was no topic that wasn't discussed, conversations. And I think people are really, really going to love that. Especially where when we're able to bring a few legends kind of in the same room, and maybe people that they're not always, hanging out or whatever, and get them talk about the comp world. Or that's all I'll say. There's some really exciting things. But again, yes, there's a teaser of it on YouTube, a 20-minute teaser on YouTube. But then there's a 3-hour unedited version that's going to be up on Embers TV.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Shit, I just forgot what the hell I was going to ask. Damn it.
It's okay.
Oh, you were talking about, the competitions. And, getting a couple ideas with the competition world. Now, obviously, we all saw it start with Pitmasters,
Yep.
Smoked, all that. then now you have, the barbecue brawl and then barbecue USA
Yep.
has seemed to, in my opinion at least, take it to the next level of really tr- pulling back the curtain, so to speak, a little bit more and getting involved with the competitors. Easy for me
Yep.
to say. Um, where you got anything like that idea wise, and where would you go to take that to the next level?
Yeah. Um, you know, I think one of the things that I don't think competition shows have shown well, so there's your straight up competition show like Master Chef and whatever. And it's just, like the barbecue brawl is kind of like that. You're on a set. The moment you get there, you're competing the whole time. Um, so there's that. But then there's another thing. There's something that I don't think that has been done, especially in this world of competitive barbecue. There's what happens at the competition, but then there's all the work that happens before, right? There's the following a team for months and looking at, the buildup, looking at how they get ready, how they develop recipes, how they edit their technique, how they take feedback from judges and build that into what they're going to be doing. And I don't think that story has been told or told really, really well. And so that's one of the things that we've talked a lot about is like, there's what happens in the actual competition. There's what happens in, the American Royal. But then what happened weeks before that? And then even then, what happens weeks after that? And so
Mhm.
that's some of the stuff that we really want to get into. By the way, RXTX Barbecue said something like, "Is there a way to give away a subscription to Embers TV on our shows?" Yeah, just hit me up. Send me a message, Carlos at embers.tv, or you can hit me up on Instagram and we'll figure something out.
Oh, cool. Yeah, the really diving deep in it of, like you said, it literally starts weeks, especially you get into the big ones.
Oh,
The Royal, the Jack,
yeah.
San Antonio, Houston, Memphis in May. That starts weeks upon weeks beforehand, and then at a most competitors, all you got to do is put a camera in their trailer or their kitchen
Yeah.
or wherever they're just preparing chicken skin,
Yeah.
and you will hear a array of language that
This is
would
true.
make a sailor blush. At
Oh
least
yeah.
that happens in my house when I'm
Yeah.
making chicken thighs.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be cool to get the real insight of it, because like I said, with Michael Simon with the Barbecue USA, he's gone up a notch
Totally.
to really pull that curtain back. But yeah, man, if you could rip the curtain down
Yeah.
and do that whole prep from, them picking out the meats and all that and everything that goes into it. Hell, the damn checklists just to make sure you have everything once you get there.
And every comp team that I know that I'm good friends with, they get there and they realize, shit, I forgot two things. And I want to see that. I
Oh,
think people want to see that.
Carlos, my last competition, uh, middle August. We're up in Hiram, Maine, at
Yeah.
the Cork Hairs event, and I'm all set. I got everything. Everything's packed. We're ready to go. No problem. So get the site set up, get everything where it's supposed to be. I start going through my coolers, and I'm like, "Where's my greens? Where's my greens?" You know, my wife's like, "What do you mean?" I go, "For the turning boxes. Where's my greens? It's KCBS. I need the better greens." She goes, "I don't know." And I just went, "Shit, I know exactly where they're still in the fridge." I left them in the fridge.
Of
We
course.
went to the couple stores around, nothing. Of course,
Nothing. Of
it's a
course
lot.
not. Yeah.
Luckily, I was only about an hour and 15 minutes away from my house. So I literally that Friday afternoon hopped in the car, came back to my house, grabbed my greens, did a quick another run through of the house. Is there anything else that's
Yeah,
going to
exactly.
surprise me? And drove back up, But if I was somewhere else,
Yeah.
what the hell?
You
There is no just driving home real quick,
yeah, you'd be kind of SOL.
But you just hear those stories, and especially with a lot of it, Chris Rosinski. I needed,
You need checklists.
I need a checklist. I do. I have a checklist. It is actually, hold on, it might even literally.
It's right
Here
there.
is my competition checklist. And Greens is on it. And I still screwed it up, But, on the other hand, the barbecue community is so tight, everybody's willing to help you if
Yeah,
you're missing something.
you totally.
That's the other beautiful thing about everything. But yeah, that would be awesome to see, really in depth, really
Yeah.
diving deep, and just things like that. But yeah, man, I am excited about this. Tell everybody again, brother, how to do it. Embers.tv.
Yeah. So embers.tv, you can go online. There's also, apps that you can download on any platform, any TV platform, a phone, tablet, whatever. But if you want to get a little discount, if you want to get a little deal, if you go to embers.tv and if you use the promo code podcast, all one word podcast, you're going to get, I think, about 30% off your annual subscription. And then after you do that, once you have your account credentials, then you could download any of the apps, log in with your account, and you're good to go. But Embers TV, man, it's available everywhere. And one of the coolest things right now is to see subscribers come in from Australia, New Zealand, France, Spain, some just other places that, man, everyone loves barbecue. Everyone loves cooking with fire. I think the only two places that you can't get Embers TV right now is North Korea and Iran. Those are the only two. But everywhere else, it's available.
Which is funny you say Iran. My uncle was, rest his soul, was originally from Iran.
Really?
And he, open fire, live fire. He loved cooking.
Oh, I bet.
Kebabs.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He
Absolutely.
had the the
The long
4, 5
skewers.
foot swords
Yeah.
on the open pit, and he'd be flipping each one individual, and so
Yeah. Well, and
you
it's
know,
it's not because we don't want to be to have our content
yeah,
in Iran. It's just the app
what
stores
they allow. Yeah,
don't put out any content.
yeah. Robert Caracas, what's up, brother? Well, man, Carlos, man, thank you so much for taking the time. I won't keep you too long. I know it's possibly get home to see the family for a little bit before
Yeah.
the Argentina trip, which I'm
Oh,
jealous about. So if there happens to be a large duffel bag that weighs about
yeah.
350 pounds, don't worry about it. Just throw it on the plane.
Yeah, we got some big gear bags, so I'm sure we can find a way to fit you in.
I appreciate it, brother.
Absolutely.
Where can everybody find you,
Yeah.
social media wise, and
So
all that?
on Instagram, I'm just Carlos Bradley, last name Bradley, Bradley. And I've had that Instagram for forever, and that's why it's just Carlos Bradley. But then on YouTube and TikTok, I'm Smoke and Vine, Vine like a vineyard. As you can see, aside from barbecue, my other addiction is wine, and so Smoke and Vine. I'm a big proponent of drinking good wine with your barbecue.
Hell yeah, brother! It all works together. That's
Yeah,
great.
very
That's
true.
great. Hold on one second, and
Not
I'll
a
jump
problem.
right back into you. Let me just close it out. Awesome, guys. That was Carlos from Embers TV. I honestly, truly believe that this is going to be the future of our passion. Um, we've seen it all. Between this and YouTube and the other social media platforms, it's another avenue for us to learn. And I can't thank them enough for coming up with the idea and following through and putting it out all on the line to get it out there. Can't wait to check it all out. and because we just want more and more. So, guys, go check it out. Embers.tv. Promo code podcast. Yeah, check it out. It's going to be great. It's going to be great, and I can't wait to see where it is a year from now. Never mind the year, 6 months. It's going to be. I'll guarantee it'll be past where it is. But thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. I got a couple calls out, so I can't exactly say who next week is, but keep a look on social media, and I'll let you know by the end of the week. But thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate each and every one of you. And until next week, keep the smoke rolling.